That's it. It's over. The end of 2023. And what a year this has been. Going to conventions and events. Meeting some of you is really cool. And then also, we started this new Mechanica video series and you guys are crazy. Look at the views on this. Anyways, we're gonna go through the best board game of 2023, including a lot of honorable mentions. And we also have some new categories like the worst board gaming of 2023 and also the strangest board gaming of 2023. And then also the hardest review we had to make. Oh, and by the way, this video is brought to you by Game Theory Tables. The reason we decided to partner with Game Theory Tables is not only for their gorgeous board game tables that make game night memorable, but like us, they want to bring the love of board gaming to as many people as possible. We personally met up with the GTT team, and if you use our link in the description below to get a table of your own, it directly supports the channel, so helping our ability to make content for you guys. The holidays and New Year's are here, and they have some great offers. Remember to use the code Shelfside for a free layout. Now, back to the video. So now we have the hardest board game to review in 2023. And so for me, it was War of the Ring, the card game, but that really pales into comparison with Daniel's experience in reviewing Frosthaven, so take it away, Daniel.
This review took 6 months to make. It took a few months to finish the entire game, and we were doing it 2 players with Pranav, which is definitely slower than going solo. And then actually making the video took a few months, because the intro alone is like 3 weeks, and the novel-length script was really hard to write since it's like all prose, which are way harder to recognize and explain, because you kind of just take a lot of them for granted while playing. While cons innately stick out like sore thumbs, making you remember and explain them better. So generally speaking, it's way easier to meaningfully criticize something than it is to praise it.
And for this year, we have a new category of award. This is the strangest board gaming we've done, or the game that most surprised me. And this one is Hanamikoji. Let me see how to say it actually. Hanamikoji. It is Hanamikoji. Holy snap, this short 2-player game shocked me. You're fighting over having control of the center geishas by having more of that card there. But you only have 4 actions around, and half of those actions involve giving cards to your opponent to place down. Like there's one where you pick 2 cards for yourself and 2 for your opponent. Or how about give them 1, you keep 2. Giving your opponent stuff constantly is so tricky. You also don't know what exactly they're gonna pick when you give them the cards. I've never had a 2-player game, or actually I think any game, where in each turn I was so puzzled on what the heck to do. In most turns we would just say, what? Hanamikoji stood out even more because I played this recently, and yeah, it's a cool game and all, but I'm like, I'd rather be playing Hanamikoji for this short 2-player space. Now, the worst board game experience I've had in 2023 is Votes for Women. The hype for this was immense. It's like Twilight Struggle, right? But with an American history theme and a fraction of the time. Components are great, the thematic conclusions are amazing, and it was really easy to learn. But actually, the way you spread influence with dice and the huge variance of tempo swings from certain card draws was really off-putting. Couple this with the anti-suffragists not being fun to play, and the huge tasks of the suffragists to place congressional markers and cubes. And after the 3rd play, I was just pretty checked out, even though I had so much initial excitement. It was such a fall from grace from that first solo game where I liked it. On the 4th game of this, I remember just sitting there at the end game with Pranav and just rolling dice over and over again to check for the tiebreak for said state. We were just so close to packing up the game. That being said, I still enjoy the theme enough, so that prevents this from being a 2 out of 10 terrible, so it just sits at a low 3 out of 10. Now for some honorable mentions. So each of these are going to be attached to a board game, but these are also just experiences as a whole rather than me specifically playing the game, since I thought it was inappropriate if I had some of these where I didn't actually play in as part of my top actual gaming of the year. Anyways, what do I mean by that? Let's go. Well, I got to play Spellbook with Z Garcia and Camille from the Dice Tower. Am I in love with the game? No, I thought it was a decent time, but being able to play with them with all the trash talk going around was fun. Another was commentating Ticket to Ride for WSBG with Man vs. Meeple. It was a very rewarding experience. It's almost like I prepare for myself participating in said tournament, and then I get to be part of the production and watching the extremely high-level players duke it out, and then I can do my best to inform people, so that feels kind of cool. Yet another commentary was for 2 Abu Dhabi board game tournaments. One in where both of my friends both made the finale. Commentating for both of your friends on stage with the entire sound system is epic, and getting prize money is always fun.
Todos nosotros ganamos. I'll get you the birthday and Christmas presents.
Okay, promise. Last one I didn't play but was still part of. Back to Abu Dhabi. So my friend was in one of the tournaments and rolled 2 snake eyes in a row to prevent himself from dying. Here's what that looks like in person.
130.
Snake eyes.
Come on, baby. He broke out. He broke out.
That is crazy.
No way.
Why are you in this country? Go to Vegas, buddy.
And to wrap up the honorable mentions, Star Wars Rebellion would have been on the list. I played it back in January, but I only played it in a 2v2, so I don't think that's quite as climactic, especially with the 2 newcomers. Now for the actual list, I have 5 I want to mention instead of 3 as opposed to previous years, because there's a lot to talk about. Also, having these games on this list does not necessarily mean they're my favorite board games of all time. These are just names of games that happen to have the best board game experience of the year that I played in. 5. Proliferation. Holy cow, this one actually really surprised me when looking back. Essentially, it's a negotiation strategy game where you play as one of the 9 nuclear powers of the world, like Russia or the United States. You try to win through wealth or being the last one standing. You buy cards from the middle, negotiate trade deals, and vote for sanctions as you rotate being the Speaker of the United Nations. In my second playthrough, I got to be the glorious leader of North Korea, which is actually the most hilarious thing, where they never suffer from nuclear fallout. Hee-haw, our glorious lands will feel no pain from nukes. Anyways, I was able to get incredible trade deals with Russia, classic. And so since you win by hitting a certain wealth number, others were eyeing the sanction on me, while I tried to pin the threat on the United States. Sound thematic? I kept telling people, including my Russian ally, that I don't have much money, okay? I'm spending it as quickly as it came in, so you don't have to worry about me winning. Meanwhile, my money was shooting up, and even after I got sanctioned, I got a lucky roll to cinch even more money. My win eventually came from via my Russian ally totally misplaying out of anger to nuke someone that kept antagonizing him. So then the economic sanctions went to him, and I could collect money at the start of my turn to win the game. Very hilarious things can happen with this game. The theme is meme enough for us, and it kind of reminds me of Galapagos, but just with a little bit more room for negotiation and more weight behind everything because you're nuking each other. Hey, I didn't think I'd like it as much as I did, and having these secret pads of paper to write down your money actually works. Number 4. This one. This tiny game right here, Scram. This one's not any really huge particular moment. It's just that every time I whip this out, I just found myself really enjoying this. It's a team game where your team wants to have less points in front of you than the opponent team. To do this, you want to clear duplicates or higher of the same number on the board, including your teammates. Catch is that you can't voluntarily peek at your face down cards. It's full of interacting with everyone to guess what cards they have, specifically your teammate, so that when you announce you have less points than the opponent, then you can actually try to win the round. As said before, complete blast playing this. I love it with every group I tried, and there's something really refreshing about just having numbers in front of you, where some have special abilities, and it's a team game. Me likey team games. Number 3 is Ready, Set, Bet. That is, I got to play this with Tom Vassell himself. This one was at WSBG this year, and it is such an experience to have Tom Vassell being a literal horse derby caller in front of you. You have to place bets as the horses move up, all in real time. When you have a fully loaded table all doing this, super hype.
5 is 1 away from the finish line. 5.
Yes!
Wait, no one bet on 5.
Yeah, I did. Granted, I only got second place, but the fact I could experience so much of an adrenaline boost with the man himself announcing left me grinning from ear to ear. I do want to buy the game and do a review one day, and I think Daniel will have a great time being the horse derby announcer. Number 2. That gets us to, you guessed it, Twilight Imperium 4 with Prophecy of Kings boosting the whole experience. It's right here. It's huge. We actually decided to play with 7 players, and while the going is a little slow with component spillage everywhere, by the time round 2 rolled around, I was totally locked in.
My first time playing TI4.
I find the map extremely interesting with 7 players, since you have the hyper lanes, which is a huge breath of fresh air since I always played the traditional 6-player setup. Also, I find the odd number, that is 7 players, a very exciting one for politics, since there typically ends up being some more haziness with negotiation. In this game, we had a kind of 3v3 Axis and allies going on, and then the Argent flight were not really committed to either side, which made voting quite interesting. We cover a lot of different games here, and TI4 feels like a category still in of its own to me. It's kind of like a party game mixed with ameritrash, with still Euro components, with negotiation everywhere, but you still have to play the mechanics? Sure, it's definitely kind of casual in terms of you can't fully optimize yourself into winning, but that's a lot of the magic for me too. Some highlights of this game include me taking Pranav's base for my hidden agenda, me supporting my Sardak Nor ally to forego ships entirely, and just have his buffed infantry jump from planet to planet. And then we passed a really perfectly timed agenda to delete tons of dreadnoughts off the board right when they're about to attack my friend who was on Mechatol Rex. When we're all standing up to do the votes or moving fleets across space, I'm like, holy cow, we're actually alien civilizations. And the game doesn't feel cheesy. Everything just, it works. It works so well. So why isn't this number one, right? Well, as you may be thinking, if the game's set up in front of me, we did not finish. I did not set up this game just for this video. We were gonna finish yesterday, but we had some type of virus scare, so we just called off the whole thing. We might end up cleaning this up, who knows? This brings up a bit of a negative going on here where it took so long. We spent 5 hours to only get a third through the game. I guess we're just getting better and or wordier with politicking with the expense of the game length ballooning. Plus, since we don't play TI4 a lot, rules issues are huge, and sometimes 30 minutes will just go by as we realize certain mechanics were cheated on or we have a rules argument. I mean, it's pretty unavoidable for a game of this size with so many intersecting abilities. In fact, we had the exact same buzzkill happen for my birthday this year, where we didn't finish and just had to clean up a week later. This has actually got me thinking of playing a 4 or 5 player game of TI4 just to say we finish a game. Maybe I'll make a video on this whole time length conundrum. Number 1. That leaves number 1 to Sid Meiers Civilization 2010 with both expansions. We play this at 5 players, which isn't the ideal player count, you want 4, but this was the smoothest game of Civilization I've ever played. I got to play as the Spanish and went pretty much uncontested via exploring, which gives me a ton of bonuses, while the player who picked Chinese was terrorizing the map like crazy and making us all scared of him. This eventually came to a big concern for my friend playing the Russians, of which this is his first time playing the board game, but he played the video game a lot. The Chinese and Russians have a really one-sided fight, and suddenly the table goes, oh, we can just kill the Russians to win the game. So then it's a huge race to slow down the Chinese while everyone slowly inches their main armies closer to the Russian capital. Let's just call it Moscow. I was able to cinch a win via my steam power technology and the Spanish passive to move +1. And so it was a clean win for me. The game really didn't take too long too at 2.5 hours. It felt very well paced. The best part about this is that my friend who played the Russians wanted to play again. It was really fascinating seeing him go through the board game motions as a person who plays Civ on their lunch break every day. He was like, oh wow, it's that wonder. Oh yeah, that's how this civilization works. And now this childhood friend is a regular gaming partner of ours. This playthrough solidifies Civ as top 3 games for all time for me right now. It's a huge contrast from the previous year where I had a disaster 3-player game, never gonna play 3 players again. But at 4 players and 5 players, there's a lot more fun to be had out of this game. So that was the best gaming of 2023. It was really tricky deciding how to slot TI4 in this. Definitely would have been number 1 again if we finished. So hopefully we do get to finish it after the new year, hopefully. Like we already got this review in the works and I'm gonna be playing this tonight to get a review hopefully going. And then we also got this one on screen that I do think I could get a review going for. It's gonna be a long task, but fun. A lot of stuff coming up. Let me know what your favorite gaming is of 2023. I will be reading the comments below. Again, this is another year of doing this awesome stuff, another year for the YouTube channel, which wouldn't exist without you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope everyone had a great holidays, and thank you to our patrons, especially for making videos like this more and more possible. We got you guys right here. Thank you guys so much. We also got our Mad Lancer cardboard right here. This is getting to be a pretty long list, guys. Yeah, crazy what this channel is coming. I wouldn't be able to try all these games and talk about it if not for you guys. So big ups to you guys. That's it for the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what your favorite is.